Sadashivasamarampham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, today is our session where we start 30th verse. But before that, does someone want to try 28th and 29th verse chanting? Hari Om Ji.
Nitya ji, can I try?
Please. Yeah.
Sukhata kriyate rama bhogaha paschadanta sharire rogaha yaddapi loke maranam sharanam tadapi na munchati papacharanam arthamanartham bhavaya nityam nasti tata sukhalesha satyam पुत्रादपि धनभाजं भीतिः सर्वत्रेष विहिता रीतिः
सर्वत्रैषा विहिता रीतिः
सर्वत्रेषा विहिता रीतिः
Not tresha, traisha.
त्रेषा
Traisha.
oh okay सर्वत्रेषा विहिता रीतिः
Yeah. Right. Good. Anybody else wants to try? Or let's do the 30th verse. You can follow after me, Rajni. Pranayamam pratyaharam
प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं
nitya nitya viveka vicharam
नित्या नित्यविवेकविचारं
japya sameta samadhi vidhanam
जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं
kuru vavadhanam mahadavadhanam
कुरुवत् कुरुववधानं महधवधानम्
प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यानित्यविवेकविचारम्
प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यनित्यविवेकविचारं
जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं कुरु ववधानं महदवधानम्
जा जाप्यसमेतसमेधविधानं कुरुववधानं महदवधानम्
जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानम्
जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं
कुरु ववधानम्
कुरुववधानं महदवधानम्
प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यानित्यविवेकविचारम् जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं कुरु ववधानं महदवधानम्
प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यनित्यविवेकविचारं जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं गुरुववधानं महदवधानम्
Good. Next verse also. Guru Charanambuja Nirabhara Bhaktaha
गुरुचरणाम sorry Dikuji बोल
Guru
गुरु
Charanambuja Nirabhara Bhaktaha
गुरुचरणाम गुच्छ निरभक्तः
Guru Charanambuja
गुरुचरणां भुज निरभर
Nirabhara Bhaktaha
निरभरभक्तः
Guru Charanambuja Nirabhara Bhaktaha
गुरुचरणां भुज निरभरभक्तः
Samsarad Chirad Bhava
संसाराद् चिराद् भवमुक्तः
सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवम्
सेन्द्रियमानसनेय नियमादेवम्
द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवम्
द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृद
हृदयस्थं
हृदयस्थं देवम्
गुरुचरणाम्बुजनिर्भरभक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः
गुरुचरणां भुज निर्भरभक्तः संसारात् चिरात् संसारात् चिरात् भवमुक्तः
सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवम्
सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृद निज
हृदयस्थं
हृदयस्थं देव द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम्
Yes. Gurucharanambuja nirabhara bhaktaha संसारादचिराद्भव मुक्तः सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवम्.
गुरुचरणा भुज निर्भर भक्तः संसाराचिरा संसारात् चिरात् भवमुक्तः सेन्द्रिय मानस नियमादेवं रक्षसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम्.
Good, thank you. Very good.
Thank you, Diti.
Thank you. So, uh, are you able to see the slides? No, no? So, we saw in the last class in 29th verse, just to quickly take over, Artham Anartham Bhavaya Nityam. Constantly remember, reflect, understand, develop a perception of seeing things with reference to what you look upon as very worthy. Look at that worthiness in the right light. Our minds seem to have a need to project permanence on things that we feel we need. That permanence that we project on them, like for example, wealth, because it is a need felt, you project a sense of permanence on it, which means that wealth I lack once I gain, you have that sense that it should give me a happiness which will last. Anything that I think upon as artham, it can be health, it can be relation, it can be any object of my desire. But I must look upon it as it's worthy of my pursuing it. Whatever I place a high value on, a very superior value to, without which I feel I suffer, I'm deprived, I lack, I struggle, and I would want. All these words are indicative of how much I place a value on it. Seeing the anartham of it. Anartham means it doesn't hold as much value as I place on it. I have to see it, see things as they are. Now, seeing things as they are is an intellectual process, it's an understanding. My intellect has to come to recognize facts. Whatever I value is what my desires are taking me towards. But I have to intercept those desire and its chase with my intellect, which means my discerning capacity. बुद्धि, बुद्धि सब में है, इंसान की बात है, सब इंसानों में बुद्धि है. सबकी क्षमता सेम है? नो. Does everybody have the same capacity to use their buddhi? No. But buddhi everyone has. That artham that I have feeling for, buddhi must intercept it and make me recognize that what my mind feels an overvalue for, overwhelming value for. Because of that, I feel I lack or I suffer if I don't have. I'm agitated, I'm disturbed. My buddhi must intercept to see it as it is. We saw that through the example, anartham. If you take artham as wealth, that to procure wealth is a lot of effort. That to hold wealth is again a lot of effort. That to preserve it, lot of effort. The fear of its loss, putratapi bhitihi. I fear even my son will take it away from me. From me. That fear is a very natural outcome of feeling insecure because I don't have an intellectual balance over my overvalue of the wealth. That intellectual balance I haven't done. That exercise I don't do. So my mind goes on feeling. It's like, if you have not trained your stomach, those who are voracious eaters, if they don't train their stomach at the right time, what happens? That switch within the body which says I've had enough, my stomach is half full. We are all supposed to eat only up to a point which is half full stomach. But what do we land up doing if we are not careful, if we were not trained early in life that recognize when your stomach is half full? Once you recognize, your buddhi has now observed. There is no other way of knowing it. How do you know that your stomach is half full or half empty? How do you know that your stomach is full? It's only a recognition of various states of your fullness of the stomach, and then your intellect is able to assess what is called half full. So sometimes I've undereaten and I feel hungry very soon. I know it was not half full. Sometimes I overeat and I feel bloated. I know that this was over. So it is all a process of anuman, inference. Using my observational faculty, which the intellect has, I am able to come to a fairly accurate assessment. Who can measure what is half full stomach? Nobody can. Yet my buddhi has the knowledge. I know this is half full. It's an approximation, but it is good enough an approximation to keep my stomach half empty. That much, whatever empty it is, that approximation is good enough to keep me healthy. In the same way, that buddhi has to intercept. If that switch is not guided at the right age, people go on overeating and they just don't know when to stop. So the obesity sets in and they still don't know when to stop. They still feel I'm hungry. In the same way, any need felt in the mind, any need, even if it's a relation, even if it's a need for um, any need, there are very few things really speaking. When you come down to Vedanta, it's hilarious in a way कि इतनी कम चीजें हैं that people are chasing, and yet how deluded we get after them. It is health or it is wealth or it is relationship or it is some form of a feeling of security. Children, what more is there? Everything revolves around all these things, different gradations, but all these things. Whichever has an excess value, look at it, bring your intellectual interception. This is a voluntary exercise. It won't happen on its own. You can't expect that at some point of time, my buddhi, I will now grow out of this desire. No, you cannot grow out of desire without the help of your buddhi. The nature of desire is it multiplies. We saw it previously, it is like fire. Any desire left unguided will only grow. You cannot say, if I experience it enough, I will get fed up of it. That fed up state of it, when I get fed up, it's like, if I go on overeating, I think that many people think that sometime I'll grow out of overeating. I'll get fed up of overeating and I'll grow out of it. No, you'll get fed up, but you won't grow out of it. You'll still be dependent on it because of this nature of desire, which is to only go on multiplying itself. Without the help of buddhi intercepting, you cannot hold the horses of your greed and the desire. So, anarth dekhna uska. You have to discover it through voluntary exercise. Buddhi has to see it. What do you have to see? If I'm projecting sukh on it, milega to mujhe sukh milega. If I have more money, I'll be happy. I have to question that presumption. I have to see it. That is why a lot of times anybody asks a question with an if, you have to question that if. If is not a question, if is a presumption. If someone said so, if I heard so, agar aisa hai to, you have to question it. Agar aisa hai, kya ye sahi hai first? If the apple falls down, there is gravity. Let me ask, if the apple falls down, there is gravity. Is this statement correct? Yes. That if is correct. If I have more wealth, I will be more happy. Is this statement correct? No. Between health and wealth, if I have more health, I will be happy. If I have more wealth, I will be happy. Which is more right a statement? Which is a better presumption? If I,
Health.
Hanji,
Health is a good.
why?
You can earn wealth only if you're healthy.
So, what is the nature of health and wealth? What should be the buddhi? What should it assess on between health and wealth? Which is more?
Health is more, which is more permanent.
Which is more permanent? Excellent. Between wealth and health, if I have to see, if there is wealth, I'll be happy. Question it. If there is health, I will be happy. Between wealth and health, exactly. Which is more better a presumption? Health is better. Why? That why is to be known. Why? Because health is longer lasting, it is more permanent compared to wealth. So, if my happiness has to come from these two sources, I'd rather pursue health first because both of them are presuming that I'll be happy. But one of these one of these variable factors between health and wealth, health is more permanent. Therefore, whatever happiness it can give me will be a little more lasting. But will it be the happiness that I look for? Nasti tatah sukha leshaha satyam. There is not even a little happiness really speaking in it. The happiness means what? What is a English word is happiness? I as a person get stuck on very fundamental words. I think I spent many months and years on fundamental words. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever reach the point of Atma and Atma because fundamentals only I keep questioning. What is happiness? Only then will I know what am I seeking. We all presume I am seeking happiness. Tell me what is that thing called happiness? आप किसको आनंद का स्टेट कहते हो? किस स्टेट को आप आनंद कहोगे? If you question that, even questioning that, what I call happiness, what will it lead you to? What will it bring to you as an end in your thinking journey? कहाँ लेके जाएगी आपकी ये सोच? If you just question, what is called happiness? सारी दुनिया कहती है I want happiness, I want happiness. मैंने पूछा भैया ओके यू वांट हैप्पीनेस हम सबको पता है वी दीज आर आवर सोर्सेज दैट वी सीक हैप्पीनेस मेरा प्रश्न है व्हाट इज हैप्पीनेस किस चीज को तुम आनंद कहते हो क्या होने से आनंद होगा हाँ पैसा मिल ठीक है दैट्स अ कंडीशन हम पूछ रहे हैं वो स्टेट क्या है जिसको तुम हैप्पीनेस कहते हो डिफाइन दैट स्टेट what is that state called what is called happiness What will be your answer? What is that state what is called happiness which I'm seeking? मुझे चाहिए.
Peace, Dipti.
हाँ जी.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace of mind.
What is that peace of mind?
That itself an happiness, no? When the mind is peaceful.
When the mind is peaceful, it will give you happiness. What is peace of mind?
Okay. Okay.
What is that peace that you're looking? What is that peace of mind that you want? No more seeking. Very good. When will you get peace? When my seeking ends. Nasti tata sukhalesha. In all the seeking, there is not even a little happiness. Because all my seeking is what is making me unhappy. Excellent, Anisha. It's my seeking which is making me unhappy. Whether I'm seeking wealth or health, I'm seeking company or I'm seeking comfort. I'm seeking knowledge. Whatever I'm seeking, it's the seekingness that eludes me from happiness. My definition of happiness means my seeking has to end. Where does it end? That he says, remember any form of your seeking may give you what we call as happiness is only a temporary cessation of that seekingness. If I was seeking, supposing I'm hungry person seeks food. His seeking makes him disturbed. His hunger makes him disturbed. Hunger makes him, pushes him into seeking food, makes him disturbed. It's not easy to find food. It takes time to prepare food also. The agitation goes on growing. Disturbance grows on growing. From the time that I felt hunger to the time that I discovered the source that can quench my hunger, the food, whether it was outside or I was cooking it, all that time the seeking was on. I was hungry. My mind is leading itself to thoughts only of food. How many of us have that? What is that called? Hangry state. I am a victim of hangry state. I used to be. Grown old now. When I was younger, people could say by the in a split moment people could tell by my expression of the face she's hungry, because the minute you were hungry, even before I would know, people close to me instantly knew इसको कुछ खिला दो पहले, वरना गया काम से, सब आगे पीछे सब गए काम से, because before she'll realize hangry state will take over. Mind is taking what at that time, what is the mind saying? However many, whatever you may give me at that time, I will reject. You give me the highest wisdom at that stage. The mind is seeking what? Food. The minute it gets the food, everybody knew isko muh mein few morsels and the state of mind will change. All that, everything, all those jokes and laughter and all that lightheartedness will start all over again. And the minute there's like, and I will not even know that transition. For me, it's a natural thing. What is natural? If like a child, if a child is hungry, it cries. The child doesn't know it cries. That cessation of crying, that cessation happened because of a few. The mind felt, I am now satisfied because the hunger was attended to. Is that sukh? Does it end the seeking? In a few hours again, hungry state takes over. No? And does it end after 2 days, 3 days? No. It's a repetitive cycle. Same thing, it's just an example. The same thing carries into any seeking of ours. Any seeking. When that seeking is met, it feels as if now I've got happiness. This is what the buddhi has to recognize and make the mind appreciate. इसको सुख नहीं कहते. ये सुख नहीं है वो सुख, ये सुख आभास है. It looks to be as if that's the happiness I was seeking. That's the object you were seeking, not the happiness. The object is not equivalent to happiness. If I'm hungry, the stomach seeks food. Food is an object. Because the hunger has got quenched, now the seeking ends. But that doesn't conclude that it is happiness. Sukha leshaha, even a minute thread, silken thread of happiness is not there in any seeking of any object. And if you meet it, if you get it, he says, identify how you get dependent on any fulfillment that you seek. If you have got it, identify your dependence. How is that dependence identified? Bhitihi. Fear sets in. Fear is only an upalakshana. It can be attachment, it can be anxiety, any of these. It's an upalakshana, it's an indicator of all any other emotion of my dependence. So if I was seeking food and I got it, and a certain kind of a taste, I got it. Now I'm next time when I'm having it, I'm assessing will it be the same food? Will it be the same quality? Because that gave me a certain happiness. But now that is telling me my happiness has got associated with the object meeting its requirement. My hunger meeting its requirement by an object, my mind has over written on it that this is a source of happiness. This is not a source of happiness. Is wealth a source of happiness? Is health a source of happiness? Is company a source of happiness? Is partner a source? If it was, wow, there wouldn't be divorces, there wouldn't be jhagdas, there wouldn't be this, there wouldn't be counselors. Pura ka pura profession wouldn't be there. There would be only ananda, ananda, ananda. Because everybody has got some anandam. कुछ ना कुछ तो रहा है आनंद सबके जीवन में किसी ना किसी. Nobody is deprived of everything in life. Everybody gets something or the other. It doesn't happen. So your indicator is those that you are beginning to feel this can take away my happiness. If you have a good cook at home and she makes excellent khana, and you love it, you look forward to every meal because it's a source of your happiness now. How will you identify that you are dependent on it? How will you identify?
If it doesn't go,
Ah,
I'll become sad.
you got absolutely bullseye. Fear. What is a fear? जिस दिन छुट्टी लेगी. That fear sets in. Now you know. Oh my God. As a student of truth, as a student of Vedanta, you realize how subtly your mind projected happiness on something. उसका counter क्या था? भीति ही. That bhiti is a beautiful indicator. People take this as a very negative thing. It's not negative. For a seeker, for a sincere student, this is a great indicator. This is knowledge. It's shared now. Every time I feel that, I can locate where have I superimposed happiness on which object. वो थी नहीं कभी भी वहां पे. When I was not thinking, I falsely attributed on it. And now that I know that this is a false attribution on an object, I can now do what? Bhavaya nityam, anartham. This dependence on that cook of mine is anartham. Good that she makes good food, but it's anartham. How is it anartham? It's not going to last forever. It's making me more and more dependent. I'm losing my skill of what? Cooking myself. So many other factors. This is just an example. So many other things. Basic idea, I think we have learned already now. through this verse, being the concluding verses, Shankara is warning us this dependent state that we have. I still feel maybe I've not communicated it clearly. In my mind, there is more words than I'm articulating. It's like there is this dependency that we superimpose on objects and its procurement, to which we are falsely attributing a state of happiness. If I get it, if I do not get it, it automatically translates it as unhappiness. But this verse tells us source of happiness is not in any object or any person. By knowledge, by now we all know what is the source of happiness. What is the source of happiness?
Not seeking.
Not
That's
seeking.
it.
Source of happiness is you yourself. You are Purna Anandam. Our स्वभाव is पूर्ण आनंदम. और कोई source of happiness है ही नहीं. Even that little external that I feel, if I am hungry and I get food and I feel happy, even that happiness, where has it come from? Has it come from the food? Has it come from the cook? Was cook the source of happiness? Was food the source of happiness? That she made it with less soil, with right spices, this, blah, blah, and all my senses were activated because the smell of sambar. Is that the source of happiness? That happiness that I really felt was what? Cessation of the seeking, the anandam that I already am, expressed for a moment, till another desire came up and overpowered it. Another lack came up and said, but I don't have this, but I don't want it, but I have to go here, but I have. My anandam is constantly overwritten by these false attributions that we make to our seekings in the direction in the world. In that sense, he says, this is a sect. Any dependent state of happiness will have its counter state of unhappiness, and that is indicated by fear. Then, now in the next verse, he gives us the disciplines. These He gives us now these disciplines. What are these disciplines? He says, pranayamam, pratyaharam, nitya, I'm sorry, this has to be, I was supposed to have checked it. I didn't check it. Nitya, anitya viveka vichar. This is supposed to be anitya, but I will now just leave it as this. Nitya, anitya viveka. It was supposed to have an a so that we know what it is. Nitya, anitya viveka vicharam. Japya sameta. Samadhi vidhanam. Now, what are the disciplines? First, pranayama. What is pranayama? Most of us know by now. Breath exercise. But according to Shastra, pranayama is not just one prana. Breath is only one of the pranas. So you have prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana. A regulation of all these. Intake, outtake. A lot of people say apan is breath taking out, but there is also a view where apan means taking it downward, which means it's actually breathing in because it goes inside. It's going down into your lungs. And pran is actually throwing out. Another school would say pran is actually taking in, apan is throwing out. Now, Pran and apan, simple meaning is regulation of breath. But at all other pranas, we have five pranas. Regulation of all the five pranas. Prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. Udan is uh, s- see how you're overwriting. Your first learning always overwrites. Um, our first learning of Udan was thought process, memory. But Udan is actually your pran, which
Moves upward. The breath that moves
ha,
up.
no, not upward. Um,
Ittiji, from the lower to the upward consciousness.
ah, yes, yes. Why? Because the faculty which throws up, like vomiting, etc. So Udan is that. Saman is circulation, digestion, digestive circulation. So Samana, but these then become involuntary. So you are not able to control them. That is how it simplifies it to say breath control. So all your faculties, even childbirth, I'm trying to recollect. How is a childbirth also happening? It's thrown out of the body. One of the pranas gets more activated. So, with the help of that, child comes out. In other words, simple. What you take in, control of that, and whatever gets thrown out is obviously regulated. In other words, I'm going to extend the meaning a little. What I take out, what are the words that I take out? What am I speaking? What words I use? What words I hear? So, at every level, having that control, regulating it, which is one of the disciplines to be maintained throughout till the end. And end means what? Atma Vidya, till the end. Pranayam is the first exercise. If you just take it as a breath control, it obviously helps quieten the mind. It regulates the mind. If you expand it to other meanings, then it means managing, controlling all the pranas. Pratyaharam means withdrawing the senses, taking them away from their ahar, whatever the respective ahar is. Ahar of the eyes is color and form, रूप और रंग. आंखों का आहार है वो. It's a food for eyes. What is food for ears? Sound. But which sound? All sound is food for ears. Is all color and form food for eyes?
Within a certain decibel.
Cer-
Decibel.
Okay.
Within a certain decibel.
Is it only within a certain decibel? Food for eyes. The word food, that's your hint. Means your eyes will want more and more of it. Your ears will want more and more of it. What would your eyes want more and more of? Do you like to see everything? Those that you have attraction towards, the eyes get attracted to particular form, to particular color. There where your eyes are helplessly moving. Now, what you don't like, are you going to look at? If gray is not a color of your choice and pink is a color of your choice, what happens? Where will your eyes go?
Mm.
And then will it stop at one pink? Everything will be pink, pinkized, pinkified. Everything will be pinkified, which means I need to do pratyaharam, because gray it is not going to go towards at all. I'm not attracted to it anyway. So, ahar of the senses means what weaknesses my senses have already are holding. So, what is ahar of the ears?
That which is suitable for self growth.
If that's your ahar, wonderful. You don't have to regulate that then. But what is the ahar normally? Matlab, usually, what is it that is a
That which you
weakness?
get attracted to.
Senseless things.
Huh. The idea of ahar means what you're attracted to. What is your ear weak for? Attracted to means it has a weakness for it. What is your ear got a weakness for? Praise. Very good.
You cling to your praise.
Praise. अच्छा लगता है ना जब कोई हमें तारीफ करता है, तो वो इंसान ही अच्छा लगने लगता है. It was a stranger to you. That person was a stranger before. All the person had to say is, wow, you're so nice, such a good person you. And even that person, you're such a good person. Now what has happened? I have an affinity for that person instantly. I don't know who the person is. Now that neighbor who just went across, wow, I really appreciate how good you are. You are so disciplined. You are doing your exercise. You are so, I'm inspired by you. Bas, that person is inspired by you. And now what has happened to you? You've become weak. Ahar of the ears is flattery, praise. Some people love gossiping. You will find your own ahar. Some people are so senselessly always music, 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 music. Har cheez music. It has to be music. It's a weakness. Means what is my weakness? Identifying it at every level. All the one or two senses would be the most. So pratyaharam, sense withdrawal. The minute your mind gets overpowered, chases any sense activity, there has to be some sort of a sense withdrawal as a practice. Then what? Third practice, nitya anitya viveka vicharam. Constantly at the level of the buddhi. So pranayam is at the level of the pranas, pratyahara is at the level of the senses, nitya anitya vastu viveka vicharam is at the level of buddhi. Just as just now we did the example between health and wealth, what should I pursue? Health. Between health, wealth, and knowledge, what should I pursue? Why?
Knowledge.
Why?
मोक्ष का रास्ता वहीं से जाएगा, वरना संसार में ही बैठे रहेंगे.
Why?
Because it's more permanent.
Because you have to follow the same logic. What is more permanent? Only then you will get clarity in your choice. What is instant pleasure is temporary, is less permanent. My mind will be more, my senses and my mind will be most attracted to it. सबसे आसान भी वही होगा और सबसे आनंद भी वही दिखेगा. Relative to more happiness than that, permanent, I'm sorry, relative more permanent than that will look a little further off, and it will not look as if it has the same level of happiness, but it will be more permanent. What should I pursue? More permanent. Between that more permanent and more permanent than that, and that is how you can make any choice in life, and you will always be towards Shreyas. You can never go wrong. If that fundamental formula is understood, what is the fundamental formula? What is permanent and what is impermanent? If my buddhi can discern this, in choices, it will help. And here, what is that which will it will bring me to? That permanent is, like I just said, if I just question happiness, that happiness question itself can bring me to what is permanent happiness. इसमें तो आनंद बहुत कम है, इसमें तो आनंद बहुत टेम्पररी है, ये तो आज है कल नहीं होगा, है ना, कब तक चलेगा, कितना इसके पीछे भागूं मैं, है ना. As you keep on doing that vichar, slowly your mind starts developing a real value for what is temporary. It just looks at it as temporary. It develops that vairagyam. It stops imposing false values on unnecessary chases. So he says, constantly keep your mind engaged in nitya anitya vastu viveka vicharam. Vastu means atma. Here he has missed out the word vastu in the shlok for whatever reason, but full definition is nitya anitya vastu viveka vichar. क्योंकि किसका विचार करना है? What should you think about? किस पे विवेक करना है? वस्तु पे. कौन सी नित्य वस्तु है, कौन सी अनित्य वस्तु है? Which is a nitya vastu means substance, eternal. Anitya means non-eternal. What is eternal and what is non-eternal? Constantly investigate vicharam. It's to be discerned. You have to take time out, you have to keep your mind relaxed for whatever few minutes or whatever time one can, along with these practices. These are just an outlook of practice, a boundary given to the practices. Along with what? Japya sameta, along with japa. Japa means what? Whoever is your object, Ishta Devta, whoever is your mind moving towards, bringing the mind from a level of distraction to focus and helping you connect to permanent is the purpose of japa. Bringing it to ekagrata, and that object of ekagrata has to be a alaukik vastu. A lot of people, their meditations that are going on, um, say I meditate on a flame. Okay. Just meditate on the flame. Invoke a flame, meditate on the flame. That's one meditation. No? Um, oh, I'm sorry. We were on Japya Summit, but let me finish this because next, oh, he's going to give it in the next verse. But let me finish this example. If you meditate on the flame, that's one meditation. But if you meditate on the flame as Agni Devata, actually, that's where I was coming as Japa. This Agni is Devata. Adityaya Namaha. Adityaya Namaha. Adityaya Namaha. Now, what has happened? It's become a Japa. The same Japa, you remove the Aditya from there, Surya Bhagwan from there. Now, it's no longer a Japa, but it's meditation. So, people say that kind of a meditation also gives ekagrata. Just meditating on a flame will also give ekagrata. I said, here Shastra tells us Japa is for ekagrata. And that's where I brought it. If Japa is for ekagrata, if you remove the object of your Japa, किसका जप कर रहे हो? In very initial, my one of the first exercises when I started teaching, first exercise was we converted this japa into mental exercises. Like one of them was no complaints, a japa, no complaints. What is most of us our source of disturbance? Complaints. इसको लेके उसको लेके ये है वो है इसमें कमी उसमें कमी ऐसा है वैसा or 90% of our mind is disturbed because of some complaint or the other. Because those were very initial years, nobody had the not many have the sanskar of all these spiritual disciplines at that time. But just to introduce japa means what? The principle of japa is one thought repeated and the mind remains focused on it. Mind has to remain focused. But if supposing you say, no, I'm doing my japa, Om Namah Shivaya, 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 I have to do 1008 times. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. How many ho gaye? 10 ho gaye. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Is this japa? What happened? You did 1008. Completed. For 30 days, I have taken a sankalpa. I am going to do 1008 japa of Shiva for 30 days, starting. But while I'm doing it, where is my mind? Not on Shiva, everywhere other than that. That's not japa. You have a wonderful vocal exercise if you're doing it aloud. Otherwise, no, virtually very little phalam. So, what is japa really meant for? Ekagrata. That ekagrata, if there are ways people say you can, without all these deities, Bhagwan, you can also get ekagrata. That ekagrata will also be relatively impermanent in giving the phal. That japa, when its object of japa is a devata, is a Bhagwan, फल में फर्क पड़ जाएगा. मन लगेगा एकाग्र हुआ है, मगर that ekagrata will also break at some point because your ahankar will get joined with it. I'm very focused. I have a lot of concentration. How did you get it? I'll make a workshop on how to build your concentration. I'll give you exercise on focus on flame. Then all the prakriya will be very clear. But the atrishtam that comes along with japa, missed completely. So here, these are spiritual exercises. There are mental exercises. There are physical exercises. What is a spiritual sadhana? Exercise is a wrong word. We just use it loosely. They are your sadhana. All our darshans are sadhans. If you do not look upon them as sadhana, they become exercises and this do not give the same phal that they were supposed to. Pranayam is a sadhana. Pratyahar is a sadhana. Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka Vichar is a sadhana. Japya Same, along with japa every day. Some japa is a sadhana. Samadhi Vidhanam. You know, practice a little meditation, dhyanam. जप के साथ ध्यान करो, है ना. Little samadhi means here keeping your mind still, quiet on the object which should be alaukik. थोड़ा समाधि विधान है ये. You have to practice it. Ordained. Kuruva avadhanam. Kuru. Again, spelling is wrong. Kuru avadhanam. Slowly. Do it gradually. Do it carefully. Avadhanam. Dhyan se. Tread your feet. Tread your spiritual disciplines with a lot of care. Don't be reckless. Don't be over enthusiastic. Don't be over capacity. Don't think you can conquer it all. Be attentive. Be careful. Avadhanam. Mahadavadhanam. Here, the Acharya, by using avadhanam twice, is giving us caution. These spiritual disciplines, do them with great care, do them with caution, you know, do them steadily, and do them with lot of care. Don't be reckless. Don't be, um, don't take them casually. Mahat avadhanam, बहुत ध्यान रख के. That's the literal meaning in Hindi. Do your spiritual practices with a lot of care. Care means ध्यान रख के. That's what it means. Now, the last verse, I think we'll just take this verse. What is the time? Ah, okay, just 5 minutes. We'll try and take it. Now, the conclusion is here. The previous verse was giving us disciplines. Um, this is now concluding it. Shastra gives a lot of importance. Knowledge cannot be gained without a guru. And who is a guru? There are very strict definitions, ideally speaking. It shouldn't be used very lightly. You know. Ultimately, guru is one who is equipped to deliver the knowledge, Atma Vidya, in a manner that if there is a Chitta Shuddha receptacle, a Shishya who is a Chitta Shuddha and Chitta Ekagrata means eligible. A guru is one who has the handling of that Shastra Praman and is able to deliver it. If the student has the Antakarna Shuddhi, it should destroy just on Shravanam. The student's avidya gets destroyed. Provided, so there are two disciplines: student's discipline of Antakarna Shuddhi and all those Shamadama Adi Shataka. So, what are Shamadama? Shamadama, Titiksha, Samadhan, Uparati, Shraddha, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutva. All the qualifications. Who is a guru? Fourth chapter is also going to give us in the Bhagavad Gita the Shrotriya Nishtha. He should be Shrotriya first of all. He should have himself have heard in the manner in which he should have had a guru, and the guru should have given it in a manner that this Shishya's avidya was dissolved, that this Shishya was also Chittashud when he heard this, and now he has the Praman. And when he delivers the Praman, when it falls in the ears of a ready person, it destroys their avidya also. And that is the Guru Shishya Parampara. So here, Shastra gives us this as keep your mind always devoted to. Lotus feet of Guru. Guru Charana Ambuja. Ambuja is the lotus. Guru Charana means remaining available to the teaching. It doesn't mean pair pakad lo. Some people take it literally. The kathakars I have heard, in kathas you have a big crowds, and some people just take hold on to the the guru, the कथाकार's feet पकड़ के बैठ जाते हैं. वो इतना घबरा जाते हैं कि भैया पैर तो छोड़ो. It doesn't mean literally holding, obviously. It means keeping myself available to the teachings that the guru is sharing. Whoever's a guru. Everyone else will be acharyas. Acharyas are many. Guru is a very specific place. That Guru Charana Ambuja, being available to receive it. As we always say, water flows from the higher to the lower. Only when I'm sitting at the place where I can receive it, will I receive it full. So it only means that remaining available to what is being, uh, remaining available to receive what is being given. I have to be a receiver. Most of us are givers. especially when it comes to knowledge. It's very easy to give knowledge to others. But when it comes to actually receiving knowledge, it's very difficult to receive knowledge. So, Shastra's advice is you remain a receiver of knowledge. Nirbhara bhaktaha, being devoted. For what? To this pursuit that like Krishna says, I have given this yoga to you. Remain devoted to whatever the spiritual path that has you found yourself committed for. Samsara, if you are like that, this is as if only condition here. All the other practices you are doing. Now what? If you remain committed to your practices and to the teachings, samsarat, from samsar, chirat bhava, achirat. A lot of, I'm sorry, I needed to correct this. Samsarat achirat. Chirat means delay. It should be achirat, without delay. The akar is missing here. Samsarat, from samsar. Achirat bhava, muktaha. Without delay. It won't take time, janmas. If you're walking on the right path, without delay, you will be freed from samsar, you will become muktaha. And what is that discipline that comes? He just, in a nutshell, gives it now because it's a summary. Sa indriya manasa niyamat. This is the fundamental. These two things are fundamental. He's concluded it. If you forget everything else, okay. These two you can't forget. Otherwise, you will become way off the spiritual path. You lose the spiritual path. भटक जाओगे. भटकना अगर नहीं है स्पिरिचुअल पाथ पे तो क्या करना है? स इंद्रिय, along with the indriyas and mind, manasa, niyamat, with niyam of senses and the mind, shama and dama. So what are the two things here? Shama and dama means indriya or man ka nigraha, and available for the teaching, always having the jignasa. What is a path that is the right path? Only my search for the right path will keep me coming to the right path. And what is that right path? As long as I'm looking outside, a guru will only be outside to start with. To say that the guru is inside is a very high state. Means you have invoked your own uh, Krishna or guru within yourself, which is a lot of disciplines. This is talking about the starting point. That commitment over there to be available to the teachings and aligning my life to those teachings, वो कितनी भी limited हो, कितनी भी कम हो, I have to be only steadily moving on it. Then he will say, once you have this, very soon you will get freed in this manner. What will you do? What will happen? Drakshyasi. It's a future tense. You will see. What will you see? Nija, your own. Hridayastham, in your own hridaya. Devam. That Devam you will see in your own heart very soon. Achirat. And that is, he's talking about as moksha here. Which Devam will you see?
Brahman,
Han- Okay,
Brahman,
that is the
Brahman.
final. Yeah, Brahman is your absolute nature that you will very soon recognize in your own self. But poetically speaking, he is concluding a stotra. So it's concluding a verse. So poetically speaking, which Devam? Hmm?
Bhaja
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. That grammarian who was busy memorizing the grammar rules forgot, overlooked. Why is he studying the grammar? To know that Devata. And who's that Devata? None other than you yourself having that abheda upasana, not that upasya upasaka bhed has got dissolved. Within your own self, you'll realize that I was to worship outside. I started by worshipping outside. It has concluded within. Hridayastham Devam. In your own self, you will see. Therefore, Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte, Sannihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati Dukrai Karne. And here he is given the conclusion of a life journey. Between the last three verses, if someone is following the spiritual practices in life, very soon, when the Kala comes, and it has to come, when the Kal comes, you will find that Dev in your own heart. It shines, illumines from within as Deva, which is nothing but if you take it from a Nirgunam standpoint, it is your consciousness, it is your awareness. But these words are rasheen in a way. They don't deliver except I'm conscious, I'm intelligent, I'm a human being. That conscious that you are is Satchitanandam, Prajnana Ghanam. It is full of, it is all knowing, it is all Anandam. This consciousness, do you recognize as that? So, as Nirgunam, it means I am now concluded the life journey. So, with this, Bhaj Govindam is concluded by Ishwar Anugraha. You need some Anugraha to conclude a text. So, really, Ishwar Anugraha that we are able to conclude. Without it, it's never possible. However much human beings put Purusharth, Shastra Vidya is something that doesn't get concluded if Anugraha is not there. And Anugraha has to be both sides. So, by some Anugraha, it has to be, it's a Sahana Vavatu, it's a learning together. So, the Anugraha has to be both sides. If one of us lacks that, the transaction cannot complete. It will be interrupted, there will be obstacles, the knowledge will not get delivered, either from this end or from that end. This is purely his anugrah. So we'll end the class here, invoke it again, and with this Shanti mantra, from our bottom of our hearts, mean these mantra, as much as we tune to it. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Just a moment of prayer for R.K. Arora ji. Some of us know it, most of us may not know it, but he's no more. So, just got to know yesterday. So, just a moment of prayer because very few people in my life I would ever say I miss, especially in students. He's one person who will be missed in class because despite his age, it was a very sudden death for him. So, very, very sudden and in a way good. He's walked into the emergency room, but So, in that sense, he's privileged, he's blessed. He could walk up to the thing, but just a moment of prayer for his well being, his Satgati. All of us, just 1 minute. So, thank you everyone. This will conclude. Next week onwards, we'll have a chanting. I'll send the details soon. Okay. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste,
Remain
Dipti ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaste, Deep. Recording stopped.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone.